Today, Deutsche Bank is one of the world's leading financial institutions. With staff members from 130 nations, it operates in over 70 countries around the globe. Right from the start, Deutsche Bank was designed to be an international financial institution. On April 9, 1870, Deutsche Bank opens its doors in Berlin. The founders, Adalbert Delbrück and Ludwig Bamberger, are looking to enter the international market and finance German foreign trade. This is entirely new until now. German businessmen have had to borrow the money they need in London or Paris. Focused and ambitious, the two founders establish an international network. Within just a few years, the bank opens branch after branch in major trade and finance centers, including Hamburg, London, and Shanghai. For the next 30 years, Georg von Siemens, the first spokesman of the managing board, is the driving force and innovator at Deutsche Bank. However, von Siemens is convinced that financing foreign trade is only one pillar of success, and he understands the need to expand the bank's domestic operations as well. Deutsche Bank starts accepting deposits, a revolutionary development in German banking, increases its branch network, and in the 1880s starts issuing new debt and equity. Deutsche Bank plays a major role in Germany's industrial development and helps finance new companies. Siemens is just one among many of these. Deutsche Bank is active around the world. It participates in the Northern Pacific Railroad in North America, leads the construction of the Baghdad Railway, which will later connect Istanbul and the Persian Gulf, and supports the building of power plants in Buenos Aires. In the spring of 1914, the Frankfurter Zeitung, a major German newspaper, carries the headline, "Deutsche Bank, the world's largest bank." The First World War puts an abrupt end to the growth era. The bank loses nearly all its foreign assets, and the economic chaos of the post-war years necessitates a defensive strategy. Only with the introduction of the Reichsmark and the return of stability does the bank once again become involved in establishing new enterprises. Among them, the UFA Film Production Company. It participates in the founding of other future-oriented industrial companies, such as Daimler-Benz and Lufthansa. In 1929, Deutsche Bank merges with Diskonto-Gesellschaft, the second largest bank in Germany, and until then, its strongest competitor. Deutsche Bank is the only German bank to survive the emerging global economic crisis relatively unscathed. The situation changes dramatically when Hitler seizes power. Private banks have no place in Nazi ideology and are pushed to the sidelines by state-run institutions. The importance of Deutsche Bank is greatly diminished, and the bank conforms to the circumstances. It participates in the confiscation of Jewish assets and takes over banks in German-occupied territories abroad. 1945, the war is over. Most of Deutsche Bank's branches are closed or destroyed. The Allied policy is to decentralize the German economy, including its big banks. In the eastern part of Germany, the bank is placed under state control. In the west, it is split up into 10 separate regional institutions. Deutsche Bank appears destined to fade into oblivion. It is only with the founding of the Federal Republic of Germany in 1949 and the start of Reconstruction that the situation begins to change. Hermann Josef Abs plays a decisive role during this period. He convinces the Allies that the big banks have an indispensable role to play in the rebuilding of the country. As head of the German delegation at the London Debt Agreement in 1953, Abs helps restore the Federal Republic's borrowing ability.
In der Tat ist dadurch die Kreditfähigkeit international gesehen Deutschlands wiederhergestellt worden. Sonst wäre die Freiheit der Währung, die Konvertibilität der deutschen Mark, die Kreditfähigkeit beim Ex- und Import, Zielgewährung und die Festigkeit der Währung und was Sie wollen, nicht erklärbar.
In 1957, Deutsche Bank is reconstituted in Frankfurt am Main under its old name. Abs becomes the first spokesman of the amalgamated bank. Investment activities soar. The bank supports the economic upturn with loans in the billions and participates in over 100 bond and share issues. Its international equity underwriting business also becomes increasingly important. In 1959, Deutsche Bank introduces small personal loans into its retail banking business, and over the following decades, systematically develops its range of services. In the 1970s, the bank recognizes small and medium-sized enterprises as a powerful new client group. The bank for large corporations turns itself into a bank for companies of all sizes.